Good morning. So today I wanted to report back on a course that I recently attended. It was the Level 1 of Rongoa Māori series of courses held by McGowan and Donna Kerridge. McGowan is actually one of the best known healers in traditional Māori medicine, even though he himself is not Māori. And what happened is that he grew up very curious about the plants and their uses. And he would go to the local aunties, he calls them, but I'm sure they were not related, the older ladies in the villages close to where he lived in Wanganui, and ask them, what can you tell me about these plants? And these ladies would tell them, Rob, just go in the forest, get to know the plants, and they will speak to you. And so for many, many years, he's in his mid-70s, that's exactly what he did. And you can tell, you can tell how he goes into the bush and he talks about, when this particular plant is in bloom, when it is best harvested, and so on. Donna, she is Māori, and she had a completely different career to begin with. And then after her children grew up one day, she said, I'm leaving this corporate job that I have, and I'm going to dedicate myself to traditional Māori healing practices. So in this course, there were 20 of us. It was held in it's sort of like a sports recreation center just outside of Tauranga. One of those camps where you sleep on bunk beds and bring your sleeping bag and so on. And we did spend quite a bit of time going out into the bush and identifying certain native plants and talking about their health benefits and how they can use in case of illness. But what I really wanted to get out of this was understand a bit more what the philosophical approach from the Māori world would be to health and illness. And I think that what I really got was that we're nature. It's not like, we normally say, I go out to nature. No, we can't go out to nature because we are nature. We are nature. And the animals and the plants are our siblings. And we're actually the younger siblings in this genealogy of how things happen in the Māori cosmology. And therefore, our duty is to look after, honor, and respect the other members of the family. And that's not what we're doing. We're exploiting nature most of the time. And we are not making sure that it's actually nourished and complete. And so when the land is sick, when the waters are polluted, when the animals are not thriving, we have to be sick as well. There's a profound interconnection between all beings. And so health begins with making sure that the land, the whenua, is healthy, and that the other species have a chance to thrive as well through our collaboration. There was another interesting talk about connection in particular, and our energy, our vital energy, is dependent on these interconnections. And when we sever those connections, when we don't go and be in nature, when we don't eat the product from the grounds, when we don't work through the land, when we don't collect our own food, then when we don't mingle with our other human fellows, then we become disconnected, and that leads to sickness. So, for example, Rob was talking about, it is loneliness is a terrible epidemic that is causing all sorts of other epidemics. When you're lonely, you eat more, you end up obese, you end up having diabetes. When you're lonely and disconnected, there's no connection to spirit anymore. You don't feel like you're part of the universe, and you develop mental health problems as well. We've become disconnected from our spiritual side, which is, again, that feeling of being part of this wider universe, of Papa Tuanuku, Mother Earth. And that is something that is so vital and important. And he's been teaching this course for 33 years, quite impressive. And these courses are an opportunity to step outside and get to know the plants intimately, and of course, we're looking for healing, we're looking for a remedy, but also when we go out with this perception that these plants are useful, then we become more interested in healing the forest. So I've come back home actually looking at my bush in my house and noticing where the manuka grows and where the kanuka grows. Oh, that one is taller, it is kanuka. I mean, these are basic things that I should have known, but I've actually never paid attention. And now I am paying attention. I'm noticing, where does this matipu grow and where does the kawakawa grow? Another point that I got out of the course was how every plant and every being has a gift. And if we observe the gift, then we know what it's for. So, for example, there is a particular plant that grows in land that has been burnt, and it's the first one to cover the ground. A bit like the comparison would be that when the land is bare, here comes nature and throws the first layer, like a towel that you cover yourself with if you're naked and there's visitors at the door. And this plant in particular is used for burns because it's the first one that appears in nature when a burn happens. It's used for burns in humans. You can apply it to burn areas. So, I think what I got is this confirmation of this belief that I've had for a long time that our health doesn't need to be expensive the way it is in the Western world, because health itself consists in our being part of this wider web and looking after what's around us and making sure that nature, forests, our food is unpolluted and kindly raised. It's about moving, it's about exercising, but not as in going to a gym and exercise, but rather doing things that you enjoy. If you plant a few trees, you'll notice how physically taxing it is. And also when you walk outside, you are moving your body. Interestingly, there wasn't a lot of talk about exercise and food, which are for me essential elements of health, but I think it comes from the fact that in traditional Māori medicine that wasn't not a concern. There wasn't a lot of fattening or unhealthy stuff to eat before New Zealand was before there were settlers in the land. So they ate what they could find from the trees and from hunting and fishing. So their health originally was really healthy. And they would walk outside and exercise naturally because there were so many tasks that had to be done. So I don't think that was actually part of their initial conception of health. And spirit. Feeling that we're part of something bigger than us. That's very important. I think that's something that we have lost. So I see a lot of people with anxiety and depression. It's all about, who am I? How am I competing? Am I, doing well in my work? Have not succeeded, and so on. In nature, nothing succeeds. You've got big plants, little insects, big animals, little animals, and they all have a role and a place, and that's connected to what I heard about the gift. How are all these things a gift, and how am I a gift? How can I exist in the world with my talents and with what I know and contribute towards the wider world? Anyway, that's me. I'm not in New Zealand. I'm actually enjoying a beautiful summer day, and oh my God, I miss the tropics. All right, thank you for your time. Bye.